friends, this is Laura, aka Lulu Sketches. Today is the video you've all been waiting for, a day in the life of a Disney artist, revealed. In case you're new to my channel, I am an artist at Disney Animation on Untitled the series. I make a lot of videos that are art advice, tutorials, speed paints, and a few videos with my adorable French bulldog Mabel. They're so cute! Excuse me. So if those are things that you're into, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. First, I'm gonna take you through my day, my daily tasks. Then I'm gonna talk about my interview process. Lastly, I'm going to talk about my first day at Disney. So working as an animation artist is a regular 9 to 6 job. So I walk into work in the morning and I see a big Untitled the series poster, and that's how I know I'm in the right place.
I painted this background.
Then I go to my cube. I work in a cube with a dark curtain so no light will come in because we want to make sure the colors on the screen are as accurate as possible. I've decorated my cube with a lot of fan art.
4 right here are by Birchbug, art by my friend Anna. This was art that was made for me. It's actually a drawing of Dylan O'Brien, who is my favorite person. This is a commission I got of me and my boyfriend for Valentine's Day. Here is some art by Helen Chen. She's one of my favorite artists. Here's a couple prints of mine, actually. These are ones that kind of printed to life, so they're kind of just extras, so I put them up in my cube. Here's my birthday cards. These are all printed up and photoshopped by Emily, our production coordinator. I opened these older drawings from Untitled that have already aired, so you wouldn't see anything secret. Here's an old painting I did of the tower. Here's a painting I did of the portrait. I have my Untitled little diary thing. We got these for being on the season 1 crew. I have this. When I started working here, my parents got me this Rapunzel for Christmas. And yeah, so this is where I work. I'm going to get to work now. I can't show you what I'm working on, but I hope you enjoyed this little tour.
When we're starting a new episode, there is a handout. So me and the 3 other background painters will meet in a big office with the art director, the production manager, and the production coordinator who is assigned to that episode. We'll each be handed out BGs that we've been assigned. I'm going to start referring to backgrounds as BGs because that's what we call them at work. Usually I'll get between 7 and 10 BGs, and those are due every 2 weeks. That number also depends on how big and complicated the BGs are, but that number can change anytime throughout those weeks. And sometimes last minute you'll be given extra BGs because the animation studio decided there wasn't enough coverage of a location, and so more backgrounds needed to be painted of that location. So you just gotta be ready for more work to come at any time. Also during the handout, the art director will go over the color script, which is a series of color keys corresponding with the storyboards for that episode. In the color script, you can kind of see the colors used, the tones, the moods, weather changes, and time of day of different locations. There's a color script for each episode of a television series in the same way that there's a color script for a feature film. So each BG has a scene number, and you have to watch the animatic to know where your BG shows up. The animatic is the final storyboards edited together into a video with the voice actors' recordings. So it's basically like watching the episode in black and white before it's animated. Once you understand the location where your BG occurs, you can check out the color script and find that scene number. And then you reference the color key for the corresponding scene. The color key will give you a rough idea of what colors to use for that BG. If a BG occurs in a location that has been in a past episode, then there will be reuse. Some shows keep using the same locations over and over, which makes it easier for the background painters. Untitled is not like this. These characters are in a different location pretty much every episode. It's a lot of work, but I love it. Speaking of reuse, sometimes the animation studio can use part of a past background in a current background, and then you only have to paint something new, like a new object that's been added. Or sometimes the animation studio has enough information already that you can just paint a small portion of a background to send to them. These are called partial BGs, and they are a blessing if you're running low on time, because they are usually pretty quick to paint. And an important thing, if you're a background painter or a layout artist, you have to make sure the BGs hook up. If someone has painted a BG in the same location, I need to make sure to reference theirs so there is continuation between the two BGs. You can't have a sudden color shift or style change during the show. When you finish a background, you turn it in to the production coordinator who is in charge of that episode. The production coordinator will send it to the art director, the supervising producer, and the executive producer for approvals. So there's a lot of people that have to approve absolutely everything about your background before it's sent to animation, so a lot of times you'll get backgrounds back for edits. If you don't follow the color script closely enough, your background will be sent back for edits. If you forget to hook up your backgrounds with the other background painters, your background will be sent back for edits. If the art director or supervising producer or executive producer don't like even a small thing about your background or change their mind about something, your background will be sent back for edits. Or if the layout or color script are edited, your background will be sent back for edits. Edits are a totally normal part of the job, and they usually don't take that long to do, unless the background has been completely redrawn. Then you have to completely repaint it. But that doesn't happen that often. While working on your assignments, you can always check in with your art director and ask questions, or check in with the production manager or your production coordinator on that episode, or even check in with the other background painters. Everyone there wants you to succeed. Besides working on my assignments, I take an hour lunch break around noon. I get lunch with some of the artists on the Tangled crew, the Big Hero 6 crew, and the Elena of Avalor crew. We usually like to go outside and sit in the sun because it is frigid indoors in the air conditioning, and literally I wrap myself up like a burrito with a blanket when I'm inside because it's so cold in there. Going outside and sitting in the sunshine for an hour feels really good, warms me up, and gives my eyes a rest from staring at a screen. Okay, I'm just realizing my necklace is all screwed up. I'm gonna fix it now. It's been like that for half the video. That's so embarrassing. Besides my hour-long lunch break, I also take some miniature breaks throughout the day to get snacks, coffee, give my eyes a rest, or take my dog for a walk. You're gonna put your head in my hand. Oh god, you're so adorable. Yes, my dog comes to work with me. I usually aim to finish one background per day, but some of our backgrounds are a lot bigger, so they take a day and a half to 2 days to finish. Some weeks, if the work is especially heavy, the background painters will be offered overtime. This just means I'll work a couple extra hours some nights to make sure the work is done in time. And for those hours, you get paid overtime. For overtime, it all depends on the show's budget and what the deadlines are like. Now for my interview. Back in 2015, got an email from one of the Tangled series creators asking me if I'd be interested in doing background painting for Tangled the series. He mentioned that I'd be getting another email from the line producer. The same day I got an email from the line producer offering me the job. I said that I was very interested, and we set up a time for an interview. For the interview, I went into the building where I'm working now. I met in the big office where we have our handouts. I met with the art director, the line producer, and the executive producer. It was really fun. It was just kind of like a conversation, getting to know me. I think it was more to see if I was attentive, if I would be able to take direction, and just to see in general if I was a nice person who would make a good addition to the team. At this point, the crew was still pretty small. Everyone was super nice to me at the interview. They said they loved my work, and they were already asking me what day I could start. Now, my first day on the job at Disney. So my first day on Tangled the series, I was brought to an empty cube. I got some paperwork to do. I had a little orientation I had to attend, and I had to learn how to use the pen tool on Photoshop. Literally, my art director came to my cube. I was on my Cintiq, and he told me to just take a couple hours and figure out how to use the pen tool because it was essential for the smooth lines and shapes that we are using in Tangled. I had never successfully used the pen tool before. I thought it was the devil, but I took a couple hours to figure it out. It was not as hard as I thought it was once I figured out how to use the shortcuts, and now I use it literally all the time. It is one of the most useful tools on Photoshop. So that is one of the most useful things I could have learned on my my first day at Disney. Actually, a pin tool Photoshop tutorial would be a great video for my YouTube channel. If that's something that you'd be interested in, comment down below and let me know. So when I first started Untangled this series, the background style was still being developed. So I got to be a part of the process. So I think that made me less nervous starting out. I think if I had just started out at Disney with my tight deadlines and a pile of assignments, I would have gotten pretty anxious about it. But when I first started, it was very relaxed. We were just painting all day, figuring out styles, showing the art director what we made. There was an inspiration folder on the server that I found that had backgrounds in it for influencing the show style. A lot of them were from Cinderella. If you've seen Tangled the movie or the Tangled Art of book, a lot of the shape language is similar to the way they did it in Cinderella. So it was cool bringing in that 2D to the 3D movie. And then for Tangled the series, we were bringing it back to 2D. So while I was perusing this inspiration folder, I found one of my own paintings in there. It was just a random painting that I'd done for fun a while back and posted on my Tumblr. So I was just blown away by that one of my own paintings was an inspiration for the show style. And so even on my first day, I was just happier than ever to be a part of this show. For my next video, I'm going to talk in depth about my art journey and how I got into the animation industry. I will talk about when I first started drawing, how I improved, where I went to school, how I first applied to animation jobs, all about my interviews at big animation studios, my first animation job, how Disney found my artwork online, and a whole lot of other good stuff. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. I hope this video was helpful. This is just a little glimpse into my daily life as an artist at Disney. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Bye!